Hey everybody, welcome back to Martian's Eating Chocolate. I'm Eric.
And I'm Emma.
And Victoria here. Let's dive in.
Pew, pew, yay!
Alright, space travelers. Here's a real brain twister. So what place on Earth looks like the most like Mars? First hint is in the US. That narrows it down a lot. So wild guesses first. Go.
Florida, because it's all sandy and hot. And maybe aliens built the theme parks.
Vic, no way. Florida's got way too many alligators. I say Texas. Big, empty, and cowboys could totally be Martians in disguise.
Cowboys as Martians? That's a movie I'd like to see. I'd pay more than the Minecraft movie to see, actually. But nope. Think red rocks, even crazy landscapes. Another hint that narrows it down really much. It's southern Utah, like around St. George. Have you ever seen those giant red Bryce canyons or mesas?
Oh, like the cartoons where the coyotes fall off a cliff? Is that why it's Marsy? Because everything's red?
Wait, doesn't it have sand tornadoes too? I bet Mars has those.
That's quite close. And Mars does have dust storms, similar to the ones that work in the Sahara or any other desert for that matter, even in Kazakhstan. Huge ones, huge sandstorms that cover the entire planet. Utah has many sandstorm versions. Plus, it also has those funky rock formations called hoodoos. Formed from erosion, tall twisty spires that look like alien sculptures. And they're red, so it's more Marsy. And also get this. NASA actually tests Mars rovers there. Isn't that interesting?
Whoa, did they find a Martian burger joint too?
Or a gas station. Fill up your spaceship here.
No burgers, but some old sci-fi movies were filmed there, pretending it was Mars.
Ugh, Eric. Mars isn't just dusty deserts, right? It's got ice caps. Isn't there a better Earth-Mars twin?
That's correct, and you got it. If we're talking about real Mars vibes, the winner is Devon Island in Canada.
A Canadian Mars? Does it say sorry when you land there?
A Canadian Mars, only if you crash. Picture this. A giant freezing empty island in the Arctic Ocean. No trees, just miles of bare rock and a huge crater. Just like how Mars had a bad day and just punched the crater and it became somehow the crater that wiped out dinosaurs, even though that's not the one crater.
A crater? Did a spaceship crash there?
Not quite. It's called the Houghton crater, made by a meteor 39 million years ago. And NASA loves to study it. It's Mars on Earth because it's so dry, cold, and almost lifeless. They even built a fake Mars base there.
Whoa, so it's like a top secret astronaut boot camp?
Yeah, pretty much. They practice living like real Martians. Testing rovers, testing spacesuits, even growing plants into mini greenhouses to see if humans can survive on Mars. Even the temperature matches Mars in some aspect.
No burger joints again? What do astronauts even eat? Space broccoli?
Well, kinda. They test freeze-dried food. Stuff astronauts would eat on Mars, definitely. Scientists are also trying to grow veggies in greenhouses. Just like how real Mars settlers might do that one day.
But why does Devon Island look like Mars? Utah's got red rocks. Shouldn't Mars' twin be red too?
Good question, though. Mars does look red because its dirt is full of iron oxide, which is rusted. But if you look closely, a lot of Mars is actually gray, dusty, and rocky, just like Devon Island or even the moon. It's all about the lack of life. For example, no trees, no animals, no plants, no tundra weed, just frozen dirt and rock.
What about those dust storms?
Oh yeah, Mars has mega storms that last for months on end. And Devon gets also fierce Arctic winds that blast the surface of the island, making the landscape even more Mars-like. And since it's so cold, water never flows there. Just like Mars, even though water might have flowed on Mars like millions of years ago, where the temperature can drop down to 80 degrees Celsius at night today.
Negative 80 degrees Celsius? That's freezing. So if we went to Mars, we'd need super warm spacesuits?
Exactly. And fun fact, Mars's air is nothing like Earth. It's mostly carbon dioxide. It's what Earth becomes if climate change happens. So if you try to breathe, well, let's just say it wouldn't go well. And its atmosphere is also extremely thin, which means a lack of air.
So Mars is cold, dusty, and you can't breathe? Worst vacation ever. Utah sounds way more interesting.
Nah, Devon's cooler. Literally. I'd pick the crater over dusty hoodoos any day. Eric, you're the tiebreaker. Which wins?
Tough call, but Utah's got the flashy red look. But Devon's got that chillingly real Mars feel. I say Devon is more real, because it feels like stepping on another planet, and Mars is not always red, honestly.
Fine, but only if we pack Martian marshmallows.
No, Victoria, we're not Martians eating marshmallows. We're Martians eating chocolates. We're gonna eat Martian chocolates.
Deal. Roasted over a crater campfire.
You two are kind of out of this world. Let's say you're on Mars, right? Well, speaking of Mars, did you know that humans are actually planning to go there? NASA, SpaceX, and a bunch of other space agencies that are all working on ways to send people to Mars? It's gonna happen in the next 10 to 20 years, optimistically.
Whoa, so like, in my lifetime?
Wait, how would they even get there? A spaceship can't just zoom over like a car trip.
Well, exactly. It takes about 7 months to travel to Earth from Mars. And once you land, there's no turning back quickly. Mars and Earth only line up for only 26 months for an easy return. I mean, every 26 months, sorry.
So, if you go to Mars, you're stuck there for years? No pizza delivery?
Nope, unless Martians start a Domino's franchise. Marcinos, I guess they would call it. That's why astronauts need to grow their own food and make oxygen from the air on ice there. They do that using hydroponics and vertical farming, for example.
I heard about that. NASA's Perseverance rover is making oxygen from Mars's atmosphere already. It's like a tiny oxygen factory.
So, if we went, what would we do? I'd totally open the first Martian candy store. Victoria's Cosmic Chocolate.
I'd be the first Martian architect. Design space houses with cool domes and underground tunnels. No dust storms blowing my roof off.
Well, that's nice. I love to map out the entire planet. Find ancient riverbeds, explore ice caves and the ice at the pole for ancient riverbeds again, and also even underground caves. That'd be kind of cool. Just don't go cave diving, that's kind of dangerous. There might be even frozen water hiding there. If we find it, future Martians can use it to survive.
Whoa. So, what if there's real Martian life hiding under the ice? Tiny alien fish!
Or Martian polar bears.
Yep, if we find a Martian bear, I'm definitely letting you two deal with it. I'm not dealing with that.
All right, so when are we launching?
Let's aim for 2040. That's close to the singularity, right? It gives us time to pack snacks and also, I guess, warm up because it's going to be cold there.
Deal. But we're bringing hot chocolate too. Mars looks chilly.
And no Eric jokes allowed on the spaceship.
Fine. But only if I get to be the official Martian map maker. Maybe even the Emperor of Mars. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not authoritarian.
You got it. Mars, here we come.
Woo! Splash, splash.
Hey, Edvin, I was thinking about some of the coolest places on Earth. Want to talk about them?
Yeah, sounds fun. What do you have in mind?
So I was wondering, where is the most mysterious place on Earth? Like the one that's super weird and no one really knows what's going on there.
Oh, I know. It's gotta be the Bermuda Triangle. It's this area in the ocean between Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. Lots of ships and planes disappear there, but no one really knows why. Some people think it's alien or something.
Whoa, that's crazy. I've heard of that. Okay, next question. Where's the oldest place on Earth where humans have left traces?
I think it's the cave paintings in France at a place called Chauvet Cave. They are like 30,000 years old. There's also evidence of early humans in Africa, like in Ethiopia, where they found really old tools and bones, maybe around 2 million years old.
That's amazing. People have been around for such a long time. All right, so what do you think is the largest island on Earth?
Oh, that's easy. It's Greenland. It's huge, way bigger than Australia. Even though we think of Australia as an island, but Greenland is technically the largest island.
Wait, Greenland is bigger than Australia? That's surprising. Now, what about the largest lake? Like the one that's the biggest of all lakes in the world?
I think it's the Caspian Sea. It's actually a lake. Even though it's called a sea, it's massive and stretches over 371,000 square kilometers. It's between Europe and Asia.
That's so huge! The Caspian Sea is like a mini ocean. Now, last question. Where's the hardest place for humans to explore? Like the toughest place to go?
I'm gonna guess the Mariana Trench. It's the deepest part of the ocean. It's super dark and crushingly deep. About 36,000 feet deep. Only a few people have ever been down there because it's so dangerous.
Wow, the Mariana Trench sounds like a place from a sci-fi movie. I'd be way too scared to go down there. This was so cool, Evan. There are so many wild places on Earth.
Yeah, it's crazy how much there is to discover. Maybe one day we'll get to explore some of them.
Sophia and Julia are lounging on the couch, watching a volcano erupt on TV.
Whoa, that volcano just exploded. Is that the most dangerous place on Earth?
Mount Nyiragongo in the Congo is worse. Its lava moves faster than a cheetah on roller skates.
What if I had a rocket boot, fireproof suit, and rockets?
Then you'll be a flying extra toasty marshmallow.
What if I had a boat?
Lava melts boats.
What if I had a boat that is made of lava?
Well then, congratulations. You've invented the world's worst vehicle.
What about the ocean? Sharks are scary.
Snake Island in Brazil is worse. It has so many venomous snakes, even the snakes are scared of each other.
That's just nature, putting up with giants. Do not enter sign. If I ever see one snake, I run a whole island. I switch planets.
Fair. But speaking of bad ideas, what about the dead Ethiopia? It's so hot and toxic, even the scientists wear special suits just to survive.
Who look at a deadly boiling wasteland and thought, this seems like a great weekend gateway.
Scientists. But to be fair, they also put people on the moon.
Yeah, but the moon doesn't try to melt you. What about mountains?
Mount Everest. It's freezing. There's no oxygen and there's a traffic jam on top.
Imagine waiting in the line for hours and hours. It's like waiting for ice cream, but instead of getting ice cream, you get frostbite.
And your ice cream frozen solid before you even get a spoon in it.
Outer space is dangerous. No air, no gravity, and aliens.
There's no proof aliens are dangerous.
That's what the aliens want us to think. They're probably watching us right now, writing reports. Yes, the big one is clueless, but the small ones is unto this.
If aliens are watching you, they're probably just... Ugh, Mahio just spilled the whole glass of water.
Not again. Maybe home is the most dangerous cold.
I'll get the paper towels.
Hello, my name is Preston Chu and I'm 8 years old. Today we're exploring the wildest, weirdest, and most extreme places on our planet. First up, let's talk about salt. What is the saltiest body of water on Earth? And why fish can't live there? Is it the ocean? Nope, it's actually Don Juan Pond in Antarctica. Why is it so salty? It's way saltier than the ocean, over 40% of salt. Even though Antarctica is freezing, this tiny pond never freezes because of all the salt. But it's too salty for any fish or normal living creatures. The water would literally suck the moisture right out of them. Next, where is the quietest place on Earth? If you want to experience true silence in nature, there's a place so quiet that you can hear the sound of moss growing. Welcome to the Ha Rainforest in Washington, USA. Why is it so quiet? It's one of the last untouched rainforests in North America, meaning no city, no noise, no traffic, just pure nature. The thick trees and moss absorb sound, making it one of the quietest places in the world. Scientists say that in some spots you can go minutes without hearing a single sound, not even birds or wind. The most volcanic place on Earth, and how it keeps erupting. Next, let's turn up the heat. Literally. What's the most volcanic place on Earth? It's the country of Indonesia. It has more than 120 active volcanoes, more than any other place. The Ring of Fire, it's a huge area in the Pacific Ocean, keeps these volcanoes erupting because of the shifting tectonic plates. One of the most famous eruptions was Mount Krakatoa in 1883. It was so loud that people heard it 3,000 miles away. What do you think the most dangerous place on Earth is? This question is actually for me to answer. I think it's the tundra, a snowy tundra. Why is it so extreme? The tundra is a frozen, snowy wilderness where temperatures drop below minus 45 degrees Celsius. But get this, there can be snow tornadoes. That's like when strong winds whip up like a swirling blizzard that looks like a tornado. Plus, avalanches can happen at any moment, like a massive wall of snow crashing down on a mountain. Scary. Would you rather be stuck in a tundra or near a erupting volcano? Which of these extreme places would you want to visit? Let us know.
Hello, my name is Emma Jo and I am 8 years old. Today I'm going to answer some challenge questions. My first challenge question is, where is the deepest spot in the ocean? What is it called and what is a cool story about it? Challenger Deep is the deepest spot in the ocean. It's inside a huge deep crack called the Mariana Trench. A long time ago, two brave explorers, Jacques Piccard and Don Walsh, they rowed a small submarine down there. Even though it was very dark and scary, their trip showed that people can build machines to go to the most difficult places on Earth. Second, where is the deepest cave on Earth that nature made? The deepest natural cave in the world is called Verovkina Cave. It's in a place called Abkhazia in the country of Georgia. This cave is super deep. It goes down more than 7,000 feet. Imagine stacking 1,100 basketball players standing on top of each other. My last question is, where's the deepest hole humans ever dug into the earth? The deepest hole that people ever dug is called the Kola Super Deep Borehole. It's in Russia and it goes down about 7.5 miles. Scientists dug into it to learn what's inside the earth. It's even deeper than the distance from Science World to Suspension Bridge.
Hi everyone, my name is Elijah. Today we'll be answering some questions about languages, blood types, and geography. First, the most spoken language in the world according to data is Mandarin Chinese. It holds the top spot with 990 million native speakers, accounting for about 12.3% of the global population. This makes Mandarin an essential language for international communication and trade. The least spoken language include Taoshiro, spoken by just one person in Peru, Toloa, with only one speaker in the US, and Kaiksana, spoken by a single person in Brazil. These languages are at risk of disappearing completely, highlighting the importance of language preservation efforts. Third, the most common blood type worldwide is O positive, which is found in about 38% of the global population. This makes it an important blood type for donations, as it is compatible with many other groups. Lastly, in terms of geography, the longest beach in the world is Praia do Cassino in Brazil. It stretches an impressive 254 kilometers, or approximately 158 miles. This beach is a major nature landmark and attracts visitors from all around the world. Thank you for listening. See you next time.
It's for a given that native speakers, the most spoken language is Mandarin. It's the most spoken native language. However, the most spoken language, like generally, without it being native, it can be learned by anyone, it's English. Because it's like basically the world lingua franca right now.
Hi, my name is Agnes. I'm in grade 4, and today I've been asked to answer 4 questions about landmarks.
Hi, my name is Chloe, and I'm in grade 8, and I'm going to be checking over her answers. So the first question is, where is the driest place on Earth, and why does it barely even rain there?
I think it's India.
Well, the actual answer is the Atacama Desert in Chile. Why do you think it doesn't rain there?
Because the desert is in the southern hemisphere and it won't get as much rain.
Okay, well, you're partially right. The desert is in a rain shadow area, which means that the winds there can't carry any water over to that area. Some regions have even been rainless for centuries. Okay, the second question is, what's the fastest river in the world, and can you guess where it flows?
I think it's the Amazon River.
Well, you're right. And where do you think it is?
South America.
Yeah, it is South America. Now the third question is a little bit harder. Where is the tallest waterfall on Earth, and why is it so hard to visit? Where do you think it is?
I think it's the Niagara Falls.
Okay, well, the actual answer is Angel Falls in Venezuela. Why do you think it's so hard to visit?
Because it's really tall and no one could make it up.
Okay, well, you're partially right. So in the dry seasons, the water levels are too low, but in the wetter seasons, it's more dangerous because there's more water falling off the waterfall. And finally, the fourth question is, what's the stormiest place on Earth, and what makes it so wild?
I think it's Iceland.
Okay, well, the actual answer is Lake Maracaibo in Venezuela. Why do you think that is the most stormiest place on Earth?
Because there could be a lot of rain, and a lot of rain could cause lightning.
Well, you're kind of correct. Firstly, Lake Maracaibo lies just 10 degrees north of the equator, so there's a wealth of solar energy available to fuel the storms. Thunderstorms also require a supply of water vapor to feed on, and having the warm waters of the Caribbean so close by provides an endless supply. And finally, the lake's southern and western edges are bordered by 2 massive mountain ranges, and as cool winds surge down to these slopes, they force up warm air, destabilizing the atmosphere and causing storm clouds to form.
Hello, my name is Adora. Where is the deepest lake on Earth? The deepest lake on Earth is Lake Baikal, located in Siberia, Russia. It has a maximum depth of about 1,642 meters, 5,387 feet. Where is the longest river on Earth? The longest river on Earth is generally considered to be the Nile River, which flows through northeastern Africa, covering about 6,650 kilometers, 4,130 miles. However, some studies suggest that the Amazon River in South America might be slightly longer, depending on how measurements are taken. Where is the coldest place on Earth? The coldest place on Earth is Antarctica, specifically at a high ridge on the East Antarctic Plateau, where satellite data recorded temperatures as low as minus 128.6 Fahrenheit. That means minus 89.2 Celsius at Vostok Station in 1983.
Grand Canyon is the biggest canyon in the world. The Grand Canyon has a lot of cool mysteries that make people wonder. Here are some of the weirdest ones. Where did the river come from? The Colorado River is so important because it made the Grand Canyon. But people still aren't sure how it made such a big, deep hole in the ground. The river is so old, but how it carved out the canyon is still a mystery. Lost cities and ancient people. Some people think there are secret caves in the Grand Canyon with stuff from ancient people. Maybe even lost cities. A long time ago, explorers said they found weird ruins that looked like they were from Egypt. But nobody knows if that's true. Mysterious caves and fossils. There are tons of caves in the Grand Canyon, and some of them never been fully explored. Inside, there are fossils of old plants and animals. But sometimes they're in places where they shouldn't be. How did they get there? Some say it was floods. Others say it was just they died in the cave or something. No one knows for sure. River. The flattest place in the world is the Bonneville Salt Flats in Utah. It's super flat with lots of white salty ground that it goes on for miles and miles. What's weird about walking there? It looks like you're walking forever because everything is flat. It looks like the ground never ends. You can walk and walk and walk and walk, but it feels like the horizon is always far away. Mirrors on the ground. Sometimes after it rains, a thin layer of water makes the ground look like a giant mirror. The sky and the ground looks the same, and it's hard to tell where the sky stops and where the ground starts. No trees or hills. There's nothing to help you know where you are. It's all just flat, so it's easy to get lost if you're not careful. In my opinion, my favorite place and the most beautiful place in the world is the Amazon rainforest. I've never been there, but I've heard of it because many explorers have been there before, and I know that it is very, very, very beautiful. It contains a lot of animals, plants, and other living stuff. For example, as animals, there are joggers and also some crocodiles. I think that is very stunning. Also, when there's plants, there's more oxygen, so the animals won't die. And it contains a lot of ecosystem.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and I will be talking about the hottest place on Earth. The hottest place on Earth is Ute Desert, located in Iran, and the highest temperature recorded there is 70.7 Celsius and 159 Fahrenheit. Not many creatures can live in such extreme heat, but there are still a few survivors, such as sandcat, phoenix spot, cheetah, and some reptiles. They are usually covered with beige or sandy color fur or scale, and that's the perfect camouflage in the desert. The animals mostly live in the western part of the desert because of the yardings. There can give them shelters. Yardings are gigantic and irregular ridges lying in the desert that can provide you shades and even can gather water when it rains. So if you are lucky, you can see some vegetation, even flowers in the western part of the desert. On the other side, the eastern side of the desert is much more extreme. It has no cloud, no plants, no shade. The only thing you can see is the endless sea of sand and huge sand dunes.
So, the hottest place on Earth is not the Lut Desert in Iran, but it's actually Death Valley, and this is quite well known. Whilst the Lut Desert is one of the hottest places on Earth, it was not the hottest. Okay, because it's only recorded 54 degrees, maybe even 55 degrees, I forgot to check. But Death Valley has recorded 56.7 degrees, beating out Flood Desert. So, while you're close, you're not correct. Today on the exciting episode of Martians Eating Chocolate, we've explored many of Earth's most Mars-like landscapes, visited the world's tallest waterfall, peeked into the deepest cave, and bravely ventured through the most extreme parts of Earth. And we've admired all of Earth's largest lakes, islands, deepest lakes, longest rivers, and etc. Our planet truly is full of mysterious and magical places. So wouldn't it be wonderful if we could see all of them with our own eyes one day? So after all, experiencing the beauty and the wonder of the world we live in. I mean, that's what life is all about, isn't it? Of course, I won't be visiting North Sentinel Island anytime soon, just know that, yeah. Goodbye. And thank you for listening, I forgot to mention that.